Welcome back to another episode of Empowered Career Woman, the show where we celebrate strong, resilient women who are carving their paths and redefining success in their homes and communities. I'm your host, Kathy Tellis, and you guys, I'm back. I can't believe it. It's been a few months. And I'm just so excited to be here. And I have the best guest to bring this all back and kickstart our Empowered Career Woman podcast. She truly embodies what it means to lead with passion, purpose, and perseverance. Dr. Valentina is such a powerhouse. Oh my gosh, I love it. And in just 3 short years since graduating from dental school, she has accomplished so much. What many people have spent decades in trying to achieve, she has achieved. And so I am so thankful that she was able to join us today. Listen, she doesn't have just one dental practice. She has two thriving practices in Arizona. And she was inspired by her parents. She's going to tell her entire story. But not only this, you guys, she is a businesswoman. She is a wife. She is a new mother to a beautiful 1-year-old. I mean, how is she overcoming all of this, especially what she's had to overcome imposter syndrome? And we've all been through that ourselves. And so I am so excited for her to open up about the mindset set shifts, challenges and triumphs that have shaped her and her journey. So with all of that being said, let's dive in. Dr. Valentina Leonett.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Oh my gosh. Listen, you guys, I met Valentina when she was still in dental school. And already when I met her, then has it been 5 years? It has to have been 5 years.
And it has to have been, yeah, at
5 or
least
6 years.
5 years, 5 or 6 years.
And I have to say, I was just so impressed by you and the things that you did already in school. I've been talking about you to my daughter because she wants to go into dental school. And I'm like, honey, you need to follow her. You need to follow her. We're going to shadow her office if you have to. But wow, you are such an inspiration, even to me. And I'm just so grateful that you are on this podcast today.
I am so excited to be here. And, when we first met, like you said, I was a dental student, and I remember knowing what I wanted, but not being sure how I would get there. And you were one of those people that were just so instrumental in my growth and in my career because you always led with heart, with kindness. You showed me the path, showed me the way. And so it's so nice to be here on the other side now saying like, oh my gosh, we made it through that. Look how far we both have come in these 6 years.
I know it. It's crazy to think. And I'm telling you, I've been watching, we constantly stay in contact, which is such a beautiful thing with social media and obviously our phones. But look at you. You have achieved so much in just 3 years. I mean, you graduated from dental school. You were the president of the Hispanic Student Dental Association. That's how we actually first met. And then, now take us kind of back to that beginning and share what inspired you into your journey into dentistry.
So it all starts when I am about 13 years old. I grew up in Venezuela, and in Venezuela, you graduate high school and you go straight into your career of choice. So you don't go through college. And around the age of 13, 14, they start asking you the question, what do you want to do? And I grew up with both parents being dentists. I was running around a dental office my whole life. During the weekends, I would go and work in the front desk because I felt so important, being able to check people in and run the credit card machine. At the age of 12, that's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember telling my parents, I want to be a dentist. And my mom was like, well, why do you want to be a dentist? And I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I see you guys do it, and it seems like a fun job. And she said, no. You're going to find out why you want to be a dentist. You're going to go explore other career options. And if dentistry is still what you want to do, you can come back to it. And at that time, I was like, why is my mom making me do this? Like, I already said I wanted to be a dentist. They're dentists, so it just makes sense. But in that process, she taught me to look for things in careers that I would want later on in life. And so I would come to my mom and say, okay, well, since you don't want me to be a dentist, now I want to be a physician. And she'd be like, okay, why do you want to be a physician? And I'm like, well, I like Grey's Anatomy. So, it seems like it would be a fun job. And she would be like, okay, let's see if we can find a physician for you to shadow. And so I would go shadow, and then I'd realize it's not what I thought it was going to be. And so I'd come home and be like, oh, I don't think that's it. So that my next thing was I want to be a sports doctor, like be in sports medicine because I was an athlete growing up. And my mom was like, okay, let's go try it out. And then when I started looking into it, she made me do all this research on sports medicine. I remember I was sitting there typing, making a list, and I was like, oh, this is not for me. Like, I don't think this is going to work. And so every little thing kept bringing me back to dentistry. And
Wow.
I ended up choosing dentistry because one, I enjoyed working with people. I like talking to people, and that's something we get to do every day.
Yeah.
Um, I loved seeing the relationships my parents built with their patients. Like they had generations of patients, and it would be so nice to see, like, oh, this is my granddaughter. And you'd remember when you saw them when they were in their 20s. And I thought that was beautiful. But most of all, I saw how my parents showed up for me. And they had the flexibility and the time to show up for me and my brother in our sports, in school, at home. And so I finally decided, okay, I do want to pursue dentistry. And then came the next big thing. Am I going to stay in Venezuela, or am I going to move somewhere? And so I ended up deciding to move to the States. You know this part of my story, but I moved here at the age of 17. No friends, no
By
family.
yourself.
Yep. Yep, no friends, no family. My parents flew to the States with me. I remember still I had a little townhome, and the day my parents left, they gave me the house keys, they gave me the car keys, and they said, "You are on your own now. We're a phone call away, but you need to learn how to figure things out on your own." And that's how I ended up on this journey towards dentistry.
It's remarkable. It truly is so remarkable. But let me just go back a little bit. Your mom, powerhouse, you being a powerhouse and that woman being a powerhouse woman, like to be able to guide you and to be able to say, hey, you know what? Let's not think dentistry right now and let's try different careers. And then to have that, um, just the foresight of why don't you try all these different things, check out the different careers and see if it really means what it really means. You think that it's going to be for you. You know what I mean? Because not a whole lot of people have that kind of guidance. And what a blessing that is to have such a strong woman there letting you know. I mean, listen, that is
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, I remember in high school, they make us take a test to figure out what you're good for. If you're going to go towards the sciences or
Yeah.
towards the arts. And I remember I got sciences and I got medicine, and I was like, oh, no brainer. And
Yeah.
it wasn't if my mom hadn't started pushing me to look for something else, I probably wouldn't have explored other careers. And maybe I wouldn't have realized how much I actually like dentistry. I would have gone into it and maybe a couple years later think, I just did it because of my parents. I should have done this.
Right.
So I truly appreciate her and her guidance. She continues to be like my lighthouse, and I have no words to describe my mom. She is amazing. But that little piece of my story is thanks to her. It's because she made me look beyond what was right in front of me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And of course, to see your father and mother both being in dentistry and to be able to touch the lives because I've been in industry, I've been in our dental capacity for the last now almost 8 years, and I never really knew how much you just love and care for your patients. the
Mhm.
way that you really do. I mean, you become attached to them. And, I'm not a dentist. And so, I can only imagine the kinds of things that you experience when you get to see them, and you get to brighten their smile. That's number one. That's kind of cool. And, it's funny because my daughter said, when she was younger, she played basketball. And one day she was playing basketball after school, and I think she was maybe 10 years old. And the ball, just flew over to the bleachers and she slipped and she fell and she cracked, like she busted her mouth really, really bad. Okay. I know. I can only, I was like, there was so much blood. And I was like, Lord have mercy. They called me, you know what I mean? And they're like, she's fine. She's okay. But I wanted to let you know this is what happened. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I got there. Her front tooth was chipped really, really bad. So we took her to the dentist, they did some stuff. And then the dentist said, because she's so young, we should not, fill in that tooth because she's going to like crack it again. So let's wait a couple of years. I didn't know. I'm just trusting this dentist, right? And for a couple of years, she had this cracked tooth. And I'm like, honey, it doesn't even look that bad and blah, blah, blah. So then we finally, when I think she turned 12 or 13, we finally went in and the dentist was just a different dentist and said, listen, we're going to fill this in and this is how you're going to eat this. I mean, just taught her how to eat and
Mhm.
do well with her front teeth. She's never cracked it, by the way. But when she got done and her tooth was whole again, it's like she cried and she looked at the dentist and said, thank you so much. And when she said that she really wanted to get into dentistry, because before she was going to go into engineering, and I'm like, are you really sure you want to change your career? And she's like, I want to make my patients feel how doctor made me feel when I got my tooth whole again. And I'm like, you're in it for the right reason. Oh,
Yeah.
this is so beautiful. And I just love that. I love that it's not about the money. It's not about, status and all of that. It really is about helping change people's lives. And that's what you're doing right now.
It is. And I talk to people, it's always the grass is always greener on the other side. You always talk to people and you're like, dentists make so much money. And then you talk to someone else and it's like, we should be in real estate. Because I've talked to other dentists that they're like, I should go into real estate. And then you talk to real estate agents and they're like, oh, we should definitely be in the stock market. And then everyone is always looking for this other thing that looks better.
Yeah.
But I love going to work. I genuinely love my job. And it's because of that. I have had so many patients who come in like this. They don't want you to see their smile. They don't laugh. We try to make them laugh and I can see them covering up. And once we're done with whatever it is we're doing, it doesn't necessarily have to be the most aesthetic thing. You can immediately see their confidence change. They walk in and they're slouching, they're quiet, they're not talking. And then the next time they come in, shoulders are back, they're walking in straight. They're telling jokes and they just look and feel better.
Wow.
And it has nothing to do with anything
Right.
besides just how you feel about your teeth.
Yeah.
It's something so magical. So I love my job. I love what I do. And I'm glad I found something where I'm passionate and I can bring those skills to the table and actually make people feel that way.
Oh, so good. It is so good. And so obviously, when you had to make that decision, do I leave Venezuela or do I go to the United States? And I mean, obviously growing up in Venezuela, seeing the things that your parents were able to do, talk about that vision and that your where you set your mind when you were saying, okay, I am going to go to the US. And you even said they just handed you the key and they said, okay, here, good luck, live your life. How did you do that?
Um, my mom and I always joke around about this because she was like, I don't know what I was thinking leaving a 17-year-old alone in a new country. with no one to like really supervise her. But she, there's something that's really heartwarming that she always says, and she says, I knew my daughter and I knew who I was leaving behind. Um, and when I moved here, I knew I had to go through 4 years of college. I did my research. I'm between a type A and a type B. I like to know what I'm doing, but I also kind of go with the flow. And so I did my research and I realized, okay, I have to do these. And so I was focused on my classes and what I needed to do to get into dental school. Then I got into dental school. And in dental school, it was just one of those moments where I was like, do I want to own my practice or am I going to work somewhere else? And of course, as an international student, I was on a visa. There's a lot of things that I have to consider. And so it wasn't the same trajectory that anyone else would have in the field.
Yeah.
I had to consider and look at different things. And I think that's when you and I connected because when I came to you, I think I was in second year and you were like, you're already worrying about this. And I'm like, well, yeah, like I have a limited time to make this happen.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yep, yep. And so, I just remembered that feeling. The same thing with your daughter is the same thing I saw from my parents. And I said, I want to do something where I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for what I've accomplished so far, and I want to continue this legacy. How can I do that? And I knew that wherever I went, I was going to give my 100%, whether it was my own practice or if I worked somewhere else, I was committed to giving it all because I signed up for this.
Yeah.
Um, and it happens to be I started talking with my parents and they were like, well, just same thing like they did with my career. There's a pattern here. As they did with my careers, they were like, well, start looking for both. Start looking at practices and start looking for other job opportunities and let's see what shows up. And this practice kind of just fell in my lap. I don't know how else to say it. It's this unicorn practice that showed up.
Wow.
And the owner, because of it being a unicorn practice, he had many offers. But when he met me, even though I hadn't even graduated when I met him. I think I had 2 months left of dental school.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah, yeah. He said he wanted his practice to go to someone who could continue that family legacy that he had been building for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And he felt that in me. And I share this story because all through dental school, my goal was one, to be as best prepared as I could. Like that's why I was in so many organizations and I did so many extracurriculars. I'm like, I'm here, I'm going to take advantage of the time I'm here. Like
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
going to leave this with any doubt that I didn't give my 100%. But two, I always want to show up with that kindness that I know represents Venezuelans, like my culture. And that same heart is what has been translated into my practice. I honestly hire people based on personality. I mean, skills are important, yes,
Right.
but I can teach you how to do these things. I
Yeah.
can't teach you how to be a kind person. I can't teach you how to care for others. You either want to do it or you don't. You can learn other skills to enhance it, but it has to be there somewhere within you.
Yeah.
And I that's what I brought to my office. And I have been so fortunate with my team. Like I tell them every day, I am so grateful for each and every one of them because they absolutely embody everything that I want for my practice and patients feel it. If you read our reviews, all of them, I'm going to say 99% of them are about how they feel in our office.
Oh,
Maybe 1% talks about the dentistry, but it's just about the environment we've created for them to feel comfortable and safe, and they know that they're appreciated and valued. And I think we all want to feel that as human beings. We all want to walk into a place and feel cared for.
yeah. And that the culture that you created in your space is so important because when somebody, even your employees, right, when they come in and they don't feel appreciated or seen, then they're not going to do their full best in your practice. And so when you make them feel that they are seen and that you care, and so that's the reason why it is just from you. And I think that's a key, a component, I'm telling you. And so let's kind of shift here real quick. You have one practice and then now two. I mean, like what? Talk to us about this.
I okay, so just like the first practice I said was a unicorn that fell in my lap. The second one happened to be the same way, except it took a little bit longer.
Yeah.
My practices were doing really well. My first practice, sorry, was doing really well
Yeah.
to the point where I did not have enough chairs to put people in. And so I was running into this issue. I first off, my philosophy is no one stays in pain. If you call and you're in pain, I'm getting you in. I don't know how, I don't know where we'll fit you, but we're getting you in because I do not believe in leaving people with pain.
Yeah.
So our practice was growing really quickly. And that's one of the benefits of having seen my parents. I know they had multiple practices, and I got to ask them a question. When did you start growing your practice? And they said, at this point, because we're starting to see the trend go like this.
Mm.
I was like, okay. And so my brother was in real estate, which is funny. We talk about it, right?
Yeah.
And I just told him, let's start looking for places. Let's see if there's anything available. Let's just start looking.
Yeah.
And we happened to find this place. It was already set up to be a dental office.
Oh my
It
gosh.
had been empty for months. Months. And so we reach out to the landlord, we start talking, and things weren't going how I wanted them to. And so I was like, you know what, let's take a break. I was in this process for over a year. People think that it was just like, oh, it showed up like that. Over a year, I was working this out. And so when we finally came to an agreement, I was like, okay, I need to start the banking process, like I need to get a loan and all this. Well, I show up to banks just like I did here with my, pretty little smile. Hello, I'm here because I want some money to open another practice. And to my surprise, the response is, well, you haven't even been out of school for 3 years. You need 3 years worth of documents. I'm like, okay, well, is there any way around it? Can we do anything? And I forget the number of how many people told me no. So many people told me no. But I was convinced that I wanted to do it. And so I had one person that was like, you know what? This is your last resource. Call him. If he says no, then you're going to have to wait. I was like, okay. If I have to wait, still, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to force it. This man, I don't know how he did it, but he got me approved for everything I needed
Wow.
without the 3 years. And the best part of the story is that I signed the loan documents the day before my daughter was born, not knowing I was going to go into labor. The documents had the date for tomorrow's date because everything was going to be processed the following day.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, I signed the documents and then I go into labor that morning. I have a baby. I check my phone and it's like, hey, your loan has been processed. And I'm like, cool. I'm a business owner and a new mom now, so I guess bring it on. And
Wow.
so I'm in my hospital bed, with my newborn baby and just, on my emails and computer. And throughout my postpartum recovery period, we were just doing things with the other practice, building it out. And my daughter was born in October. End of January, we opened doors. And so I was just going between two practices and with a baby.
My gosh. Obviously, you have associate dentists that help support while you were on break, right? Taking care of your little one. And that is again just speaks to your hard work, your dedication, and just a fortitude of saying, "Lee, I am going to push through this no matter what." And I love the fact that you even took a step back. You have to assess sometimes because, like you mentioned, when it's not going the way that you really want it to, maybe it's just time to just pause for a little bit, and that's okay. It is
Yeah.
okay. And then sure enough, this guy pulled through and look at you with two practices. I want to know how in the heck you did the practice and have your baby at the same time. So you came back 4 months after the baby was born. And how did you juggle all of this as a mom, as a business, and as a new wife also? You guys have been married how long?
2 years. Yeah. So that's also, I mean, funny stories. I actually got married, graduated dental school, and bought my first practice all within 3 weeks of each other. So it all happened in the same month. So May is a very busy month in my life. But I see a lot of things that say you can do it. If you want to put your mind to it, you will do it. And it's true, but we also need support. And I don't believe in doing things alone. We can do it alone. It's just going to be a lot harder.
Yeah.
I am very blessed to have amazing parents that support me. So they love taking care of my daughter. My in-laws love taking care of my daughter. So they actually argue over who takes care of my daughter. Um, I have a wonderful husband who supports me along the way. I mean, this man works really hard so that I can also have that time with my daughter.
Wow.
Um, and I have an amazing team. Like I am telling you, I was on maternity leave. I was still technically working.
Right.
Um, but they would call me, they would FaceTime me if they needed something, and they tried to do it on their own as much as they could. If they hit a roadblock, then that's when they would contact me. And let me tell you, stepping back for those 3 months with my daughter was the greatest thing I've done for my team members because I don't I don't like to see people in pain. I don't like people suffering. So when I see them struggling, I have the tendency to jump in and tell them how to fix it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't there, they had to figure it out on their own.
I love
And the growth that they had in those 3 months, I am telling you, Kathy, I was amazed when I came back. It
um,
was night and day. And I am always so grateful for them because they knew that I needed that time to be a
yeah.
mom, but they also took it into their own hands to do things and do it right. It
Right.
might have, maybe it took them longer than it would have if I had been there. I don't know because they never even told me. I just know that I came back and everything was still functioning as if I had not missed a day.
My
And
gosh.
yeah, and that's why I say my team is incredible. I will always praise them because they are fantastic.
What's so remarkable about this, it's like now you as a mother, and you want to do everything for your kid. Like you want them to not feel the pain. You want them to like go through life without struggle. But this was just another testament of how life works, right? And there's often times where my daughter has seen failure and whatnot, and I'm like, "Well, come home and I'll cook for you and I'll take care of you." And my husband's like, "No, don't come home. What we live in California. You have a car, okay? That's why we bought you a car. Drive to the beach and like take in the salty air and assess life and how blessed you are." And you know what? She did. There was this one time that she didn't get accepted into this one program, and she was so devastated. And I'm like, "Come home." And my husband's like, "No, don't come home. Get in your car and go to the beach." And guess what? She rented like a e-bike, and then she rode up and down the thing, and she was there for like hours, and she's like, "I didn't want to hang out with anybody. I just wanted time for myself." And at the end of the night, she called us and she said, "Thank you so much for pushing me out of the house, because I would have been moping around in the house, or she would have come home.
Yeah.
Would have been nice for me." But the growth that she had, even in just that few hours, just she started thinking, "Okay, well, now that I can't do this, well, I have this and I have that." And she had all these other plans set for herself. And I looked at my husband, I'm like, "Gosh, thank you so much for that, because had it been me, I'd be like, 'Come here, big girl, let me cover you and let me take care of you, and don't worry, everything's gonna be fine." No, as a mom, you have to kind of let go. And I'm so glad that you did that for your team, because they grew in that 3 month time. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm learning as a mom too. I think I'm navigating a lot of emotions and feelings as we go through it.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing, and my husband reminds me of it a lot, is I mean, we have to go through it, we have to learn. And one thing I'm working on with my team is just the way I address feedback. Like you guys can do it, so now I just need to take a step back and let you figure it out and let you do it.
Mm.
And we're all going to grow together.
Yeah. And when you and I spoke about this interview, we talked about how you had seen some failures, because obviously when somebody's listening to this right now, they're like, life is grand. she's hit such wonderful strides, but they really don't understand and know the struggles that you also face as a woman, as a mom, as a wife, and just being a woman itself, right? And the idea, we've heard of this now, it's become more popular in these terms of imposter syndrome. And you've had to struggle through that as well. I know I have. Let's talk about you and how you had to overcome that, or whenever you feel that feeling of imposter syndrome, what do you do to like break that?
I think um, we all go through that level of imposter syndrome at some point. When I first moved here, I was, like I said, on a student visa, and my journey didn't look like anyone else. So I didn't have anyone to relate to, and I felt like I was on this little island by myself, which is how I started in social media. I created a website, so like in that time it was like a Facebook page to help other international students who wanted to get into dental school to find that community. And then I got into dental school and I started my dental Instagram page, which has surprisingly like taken me places I never thought it would. But it all started trying to build that sense of community because I did feel alone.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, when I first opened my practice, that one wasn't as challenging, but it was in the sense of dentistry for the longest time was male dominated. And in the place I'm at with my first practice, it's only male doctors. So I remember when I opened doors, my dad was with me and they would talk to my dad. No one would talk to me. They would look at my dad, and my dad would turn and look at me, and they would still look at my dad. Um, it happened, I had a male associate, and we would walk through the doors and they would talk to him and not talk to me. And those things I think add up because we're like, hello, I'm here, I'm showing up. Why are you not looking at me? What else do I have to do? And I realized with time that that is actually my superpower. I have been in tables that people were not expecting me to be seating at. I have open practices where people are just like, "Oh, you're the owner? You're so young. You've done this." And I'm like, "Yeah, I am young. I have done it." Um, I knew what I wanted and I went for it despite hearing no multiple times. And that's actually why I also started speaking because so many people hear the word no and we just kind of no one likes being rejected. We don't like it. We shy away from it. It hurts. Like we don't it feels icky. But the moment you're able to say, okay, like your daughter did, I heard the word no. That wasn't for me. What else can I do? There has to be other options. That's the same way I go about imposter syndrome. Okay, I heard no or I felt this way. What is it about me that tells me that that part is not true? And so I read a book where they tell you to make a list of all the amazing things that you've done. As dumb as it seems to make that little list, but you have to read it as if it was somewhere else. So like I read it as if I was talking about you, Kathy. And when you do that, you realize, oh my gosh, I am pretty awesome. Like I have done all
I am
these things.
strong, right?
Yeah. We forget about it because we go through it and we're like, oh, it's another day. It's another thing. And we just sit kind of in that mindset of like, well, I maybe I don't belong in this room because I haven't accomplished this by 8:30. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
You're doing it. Maybe I shouldn't try this because what if it fails? What if it succeeds? It's just about changing your mindset. And so I've worked a lot on personal growth and personal development and mindset shift because I do believe that if we are in the right space and we see things through a different lens, the world around us is just going to look completely different.
Oh my gosh. This is so good. Oh, I love it. I wish I knew this younger. I feel like I did know it. My daughter always says, "Mom, you're a go-getter. You are such a fighter." And I believe it's because my parents were immigrants and they came to the US many years ago and they said just push through and really push through. I mean, there's going to be pain. You're going to come across some hiccups and a lot of failure. but you have to just continue on. And I just love that story. Oh my gosh. Well, we're going to take a quick break real quick and then we will come back. I'm so excited to continue this conversation. My gosh, Valentina, this is so amazing. The things that you are sharing, it just hits home, not just in dentistry necessarily but this is exactly what this podcast is all about. Empowered career women, whether you own your own business, whether you work for somebody, it's just how you show up and you push through struggles and mindset that was such a huge thing that you just said about shifting your mind. And because we can easily do, if you're, when you go into a practice and then rather when people come into your practice and everyone looks at the male doctors and they don't look at you, you can totally do the opposite way and feel like, oh, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. But instead, you show up and you're like, yeah, hey, listen, you don't need to look at him. I'm the owner here.
Yep. And
I'm the person driving this bus.
I was at a conference last weekend and we talked about this.
Yeah,
And we talked about comparison and how it affects imposter syndrome because we see other people doing things, male or female,
right.
and we're like, well, I'm not there yet. So who am I to talk about this? I'm not good enough. I'm not qualified enough. Like all the I'm not enoughness shows up. Why?
That's
Like we have to sit back and look at it and like, okay, I'm not good enough. Why? Why am I not good enough? And then you start listing reasons why you actually are qualified for this. And sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it. Like there have been times where I walk into rooms and I know everything? No. But I sat back and I listened to what other people were saying and I learned from their knowledge, from their experiences, from the way they relate to other people, from the way they communicate. There's so much more that goes into showing up as like a powerhouse of a woman besides just your knowledge. Like there's so many factors that go into this that we sometimes take for granted. And it's so important to hone in on those skills. That's what's going to make you different.
totally. I love that so much. And so talk to us about this as a mother, a wife, business owner. How have you managed all of it? I know you said that you have a great support system and whatnot, but how do you literally manage it? Like, what time do you wake up? How do you, that's three demanding roles, by the way, right? Wife, mom, and business owner.
Yeah.
And how do you continue to grow yourself professionally throughout all of that?
I try to I worked with a coach. One of my friends it was starting in a coaching program and she was like, "Can you be one of my test subjects?" And I was like, "Absolutely," because her focus was working moms. And I was like, "I'm a new mom and I work. So perfect." And one of the things she told me was to be 100% in whatever I was doing. So if I'm with my daughter, I'm 100% with my daughter. If I'm at work, I'm 100% at work. If I'm home with my husband, we make time to be 100% for each other. Phones are off, put away, we watch a show, we go to the grocery store, we find something where we are just connecting with each other. Um, and I was guilty of bringing homework with me because I had so much going on that I was like, I can't catch a break. But after this conversation, I was like, you know what? Yeah, if I'm home, I'm going to be home. Like, I'm going to do work at work, and maybe sometimes things come home, but I'm going to do it after my daughter's in bed.
Yeah.
After I put her to sleep, then I'm going to go work on whatever else I need to do. I'm very intentional about the time I make for my personal growth, whether it's choosing conferences to go to, books to read. On my commute to work, I'll listen to podcasts, which is great for just learning. And I make time for it. I learned that if I don't take care of myself, I'm going to lose myself in all these other hats that I wear.
Yeah.
And I think it happens to us a lot as women is like we have to show up as a mom. And we don't really get to turn that off. Like if my daughter wakes up at 3 a.m., I have to be up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
If my husband has a bad day, I need to be a wife. I need to be there and listen to him and support him. If my parents need help, I need to be a daughter. I'm gonna show up for them because they've shown up for me. My brother is, I love my brother. I know people have like issues with siblings sometimes. My brother and I are tight.
I love that.
Yeah. And whenever I am in that funk of like, I'm feeling like I'm not good enough, he is the first one to just be like, hey, stop it. Like, look at what you've done. You are incredible. Bring it back. And we all need that one person in our lives.
Wow.
My husband loves me in a different way that my brother does. My brother has seen everything I've gone through, all the challenges, and so he knows. I think my husband's role is more nurturing, more just to be there and comfort me.
Wow.
And we all have everyone in our lives plays a different role. Maybe your husband is the one that snaps you out of it, but your parents are the ones that bring that nurturing. We all have that.
Wow.
And so I just learned to rely on those people. I make time for it, and then I rely on the people that I know are going to tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear.
Yeah. And that's so key because, when you think about it, um, oftentimes it's like, whoa, I didn't realize that I'm doing this, right? And it's those emotion, like you said, I just love what you just said about, it's not what you want to hear, it's what you need to hear.
Hmm.
It's what you need to hear, which is so, so key. I'm so excited about that because that is, um, it's like a topic that we don't ever really talk about,
Hmm.
right? About, how the people that is closest to you they can sabotage you.
Hmm.
But then the other side of it, they can be the ones that can give you the good criticism that's going
Hmm.
to snap you out of your funk because we do get into funk. So we're not super women. And this is the other part too, where yes, we are all strong. We are all super women and we do it so much. We carry so much, but if you don't have that network of people to support you, you cannot do this alone. People ask me often, like, how are you so positive? How are you? Because I'm not doing this by myself. I am not living life by myself. Trust me. I have my husband, like you said, like who's the nurturer, but he's the one who will like snap me out of my way and say, listen, I need you to hear this. And I'm like, oh, dang, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you're right. Or my sisters. And, you're talking about the siblings. I have my sisters who are very close to me. We don't live together. My one sister is in Seattle, the other one's in Hawaii. But we constantly message each other and we get on FaceTime at least once a week if we can. So they are the ones also who are, okay, let's talk the real talk. And I appreciate that so, so much. I really do. And so on top of all of this, and I know I never shared this in my in my questions that you and I were talking about, but now you are also a speaker. And let's talk about this journey because it is such an amazing thing that you're doing as well on top of everything else. But you're also speaking in different conferences or you're doing things for different organizations. Talk to us about that. How did you get into speaking? Why did you get into that? Uh, Share with us, please.
Um, so you and I met when I was in dental school, and I was a president of the Hispanic Dental Association, Hispanic Student Dental Association. And I remember telling you I was teaching Spanish lessons to dental students. We had a large Spanish-speaking population at ASDO, the school I went to, and we needed more people who spoke Spanish. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to teach Spanish lessons. I'm just going to teach them how to speak Spanish. And so I started getting up there and teaching them how to say like basic things in Spanish. Well, to my surprise, this kind of ignited that little fire in me that was like, I like teaching, I like speaking, and I like speaking about things that I know about that I've gone through, so I can talk to you about Spanish. Um, and so time went on, I did presentations here and there, and then I actually had a patient send me an invitation to a pitch competition. So it was a pitch competition for women business owners, less than 3 years that wanted to make some money. And I was like, I'm a business owner who wants to make money. So like, listen, 3 years, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I got up on that stage and I just felt something that I hadn't felt in a really long time. I used to be a dancer. I loved being on stage. I loved performing, but I had never really spoken on a big stage. And I had that feeling of like, I want to do this more. And so I actually won first place in that pitch competition. And I was like,
Oh, how
hey,
did I know? First off, I didn't know about that story, but why am I not surprised that you won first place?
yeah. So as I'm going through this thing, I tell my husband, I'm like, if I win this competition, because I like to set intentions and goals for myself. If I win this pitch competition, we're doing two things. Because at that time, I had just found out I was pregnant. I'm like, we're buying a toaster, like a panini press,
Oh,
because I love croissants, and I'm like, I want to toast my croissant in the panini press. So that's number one. And number two, I am investing in a speaking course. I want to be a speaker. So if I win first place, that's what we're doing. The first part is getting the panini press, and then I'm going to do my speaking course.
I love it.
And I actually did it. I actually waited until I was on maternity leave. So on maternity leave, because I was with my daughter all day, I was up late nights. I was just watching this speaking course, and it just felt like the missing piece to my puzzle
Yeah.
because same thing, we battle with imposter syndrome. I battled a lot with rejection. It took me 2 tries to get into dental school. I used to be ashamed of talking about it because it felt embarrassing. Like I didn't get in the first try, but it was the best thing to ever happen to me. That rejection was exactly what led me to Arizona. And it's what led me to my husband. It's what led me to my practice. And everything I have accomplished started because I didn't get in that first year.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about that because I remember being in dental school, everyone asks like, oh, how many schools did you get into? How many times did you apply? And it's almost like embarrassing. It's like, the scarlet letter to say that you didn't get in the first time.
Yeah.
And here I am now. I graduated top of my class. I open my practice. I do all this. And it's not bragging about myself. It's saying like, you can do it too.
Yeah.
I wasn't that perfect applicant. Even though I felt like I was pretty good, I wasn't that perfect applicant and I still did it. So you can do it too. It doesn't have to be with dentistry. It's like in your job, you wanted a promotion, you didn't get it. You can still find other avenues to get there. I don't know, people struggling with fertility issues. I was talking to someone yesterday. Like the moment you have your baby and you hold that baby, your whole life changes. And you went through so much hardship to get to this point. And I know every time I talk to someone, once you're on this side, you're like, I would do that 10 times over again. But when you're in the middle of it, it doesn't feel like you want to do it all over again. And so that's why I started speaking because so many times I felt alone. And again, I didn't see anyone that looked like me that could share a story like mine to tell me it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like when I was in the process, I was just like, I'm in this little island by myself. I have no one to really talk to, no one who really understands. And I want to be that voice for people to know you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. It's the best thing that could happen to you, even if you don't see it right now.
Yeah. Oh, that's such great advice. Because that was going to be my next question. Like, for all of the listeners out there, what would that one advice be? And I
Mhm.
know you just shared that, sir, but what if you could speak to one of the listeners?
Mhm.
What would that advice be in regards to imposter syndrome?
You are more qualified than you believe you are.
Mm. Mm-mm.
Your power, your value, your worth is not dictated by anyone else but yourself. So the moment you believe in yourself, you know you have that dream for a reason. It's there for a reason. So just listen to that voice and ignore the other one. It can sit there. It can listen to this one talking to you and telling you why it is worth it, why you are good enough.
Yeah.
But we can ignore this one. Just turn it out.
Put it off on the side. It's
Yeah.
almost like the devil and the angel, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ignore it.
Yeah.
Ignore it. Don't listen to him. It's going to be louder than the other one. This one's very soft and quiet. This one's really loud. But the moment you start to tune this one down and listen to this one, you're going to feel so much better.
Oh,
And
so
your world is going to change because people ask me if there's a magic recipe to everything I have accomplished. I mean, I'm going to be 30 in a couple months. I still haven't even hit my 30s.
my gosh, woman.
And there's no real magic besides I just know what I want and
Yeah.
I'm going to work tirelessly until I can get it. And if I don't get it, I take a pause and I say, okay, what can I learn from this and where can I redirect? Where is it? Where's the other opportunity I can find?
Hmm.
That's it.
So good. So good in such a young age to, experience that. And I absolutely love that. I think that you'll inspire so many. You will continue to inspire so many people. And I'm telling my daughter she better listen to this episode. It's so good. It gave me goosebumps, by the way. You can't see it, but I have goosebumps because just hearing what you're saying and that the fortitude, the resilience, your perseverance through any hardship, I think that's what makes you who you are. And that I believe is why your story is so powerful. So when you get on stage and you get to share really you and your story, it resonates with people, whether they're going into dentistry or not. It hits them and it's like, wow, you know what? I can overcome things
Yeah.
and I can push through hard things. And I can get through hard things and I'm gonna survive. And I not even survive, I'm gonna thrive
And you
because of
do
it.
it with people. You
And
do
you
it
do
with
it with
community.
people.
You don't do
That's
it
right.
alone. You
That's
do it
right.
in community.
That's right. That's right. So what's next for you, both professionally, personally? I mean, I don't even know. I don't want to say I'm afraid to say like, where do I see you in 5 years? Because I don't even know 5 years. You're gonna be exploding beyond your goals from there. Where do you see yourself even in the next 2026, in 2027? Like where do you want to be? Or, what's the next thing?
It's funny. I had all these goals, and I recently learned not to call them goals, but to call them intentions. I'm going to share this little
Mhm.
nugget real quick.
Yeah.
Goals seem like we have to hit them for them to come true. And
Mm.
so if we don't accomplish them, we almost feel like we failed ourselves. Versus when we set an intention, we know that we went for it. And even if we didn't reach that end goal, end line, um, we tried it and we will feel better. So since then, I'm like, okay, I'm calling them intentions. I'm not calling them goals anymore.
I love that.
Yeah, see,
I'm
no,
putting that. I wrote it down. I love it.
so I had all these intentions to grow practice and start speaking and become a mom. Like it was on my list of things and now I have it and I'm like, okay, I need to rework these intentions. But one of the things I'm finding a lot of joy in is speaking. So I think 2026, 2027, you'll probably see me on a lot more stages. That's one of the intentions I'm setting for myself. But in the process, I also want to be a good leader, a good mom, a good wife. It, it, I want to be present in what I'm doing. And I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of pre-dental students on my team who are now in dental school. And so I feel like a proud mom
Yeah.
because I'm like, they all were in the same place I was at one point. And seeing them like thriving right now in dental school is so fulfilling. So I want to continue that path. I want to continue that mentorship and obviously growing my practice. Um, we are we have grown almost fourfold since I bought my practice 3 years ago. So yeah, we've had tremendous growth. I want to find the right team, continue growing that team. And who knows, maybe we'll see another practice show up here and there. Maybe those unicorn practices are out there for me. But I do like the mentorship part. I like mentoring, I like speaking. Um, I like making people feel like they're not alone. I like encouraging people to be better. And I can do that by with my hands in dentistry. So I'll continue to do what I love, what I'm passionate about, which is being in that dental chair with people. But I also feel like my voice is powerful enough to help other people overcome whatever they're going through. So I want to make use of that while I can as well. And watch my daughter grow up. She's a year old and I'm surprised at how time has gone by. So I'm just excited to be present for her and build something that will give me that flexibility to show up when she's older and just create those core memories together.
Yeah, I love it. This has been such a joy having you on here. I knew back then, whatever, 5, 6 years ago when I first met you, that you were phenomenal. And I love seeing women thrive.
Mhm.
And you have been doing it. And I'm just so, first off, I'm just so proud of you. I mean, like when you're like talking about like mama bear, I
Yeah.
am so proud of you. I have seen so much that you have accomplished, but even the hardships. I mean, you and I have talked about some of those things as well. And I am just so proud of where you are, Latina. I mean, a young woman who's not even 30 years old. Good grief, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for you to thrive the way that you are, it's pretty phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. And you know, I said it earlier, but you were an instrumental part because you were one of the people that actually heard me. You listened to me and you made me feel seen and you gave me the resources that I needed to be able to step up and level up. And you were always there for me. So I want to say thank you because that's exactly what we need. We need people that believe in us, that see that in us, even when we don't see it. So you probably saw more in me than I did at the time as a second year dental student who was just learning how to do a filling, you know?
Right? Oh my gosh. And I'm telling you, when we come over in December, my daughter's going to be shadowing you and get to see the master in hand. I mean, I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
But listen, I know our my listeners are going to want to know how to find you. Where can we, follow you? And so share all of that. I will drop it down on the YouTube channel as well. But how can they find you on Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram. I'm recently more on LinkedIn. So if you're on
Oh,
LinkedIn,
yeah.
connect with me. And it's just my name, Dr. Valentina Leonett, Leonett with two T's at the end. But just shoot me a message. I check my DMs. I'm genuine about this. I love talking to people and making connections. And like I said, seeing you guys thrive and succeed, it makes me happy. And I'm not just saying that, it genuinely brings me joy and happiness. So please reach out. I am here as a resource, and I just want you guys to be the best version of yourselves and feel proud of what you're accomplishing.
I love it. Your story is so powerful. And I just want to say thank you for joining me on the Empowered Career Woman podcast because you are an empowering woman. I'm telling you right now. And for all of my listeners, thank you again for joining in. If today's episode spoke to you, please share it, like it, subscribe. And I'm just so thankful that you guys are here as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, stay empowered, stay inspired, and keep chasing that woman you're meant to become. And so, with that being said, thank you, and I will see you soon.